There are a lot of good systems to help you understand yourself and others better, but none of them work if you don't use it. That's the difference with Genius Spark. One of the things we've designed is that you don't have to become an expert on the assessment, know all about the strengths. That's great if you can, but you don't need it. Everything you need to facilitate great conversations, help people discover more about themselves and others, is right here on this single page. At the core of using this sheet is breaking it down into several small icebreaker questions that you can do at the beginning of any meeting with your team. There are more than 8 weeks worth of questions just on this page alone, so get ready. I'm about to go through them. In your team meeting, you can start with, hey, let's look at Rex Miller's profile. Let's look at his ring. What stands out to you? Of course, what you'll see is the green zone, the thinking zone, stands out. 60% of Rex's strengths reside in that green zone. So now you have an opportunity to say, does anybody else have 60% in the green zone? And get some group discussion of what people think that might look like for Rex or what it might mean. So again, it's an icebreaker question to get people to talk and think about how Rex is wired. And now that the group has unpacked this a little bit, you can now shift to asking Rex a few questions. What does it look like when you get energized? What zone do you like to go to when you recover? And then flip it. What are some of the things that drain you, and which zone does it come out of? Now, for me, I don't have any red. And so one of the things that drains me are people who are very social, talkative, really good at developing what we call small talk, which is very important in getting into deeper things. But that drains me to have to do that. If you have 6 people on the team, you now have something that you can use in 6 meetings. Genius Spark has a report that shows everybody's ring profile. So now you've got another opportunity to ask the group about each person's ring and what's different, what's similar, where do you get energized, where do you get drained, which zone do you have challenge connecting with. This is a great conversation with the purpose of beginning to see similarities, differences, how we work better together. If we go to the strengths down the middle, a question might be, Rex, what is your go-to strength and why? After that, you can switch to the group and ask, when Rex is operating in his go-to strength, what does it look like to you? Another question to flip it to the other side is, what strength do you want to work on the most and why? You can do something that's more real time by asking, think about the last day or two. When were you most energized? When were you most engaged? When did you get some positive responses? I call these highlight moments. Go back and think about that feeling. Look at your strengths and share with the group which strengths you think you are tapping into. Now notice in those strengths in the middle, there's a little tagline. Another icebreaker question is, which of these taglines describes you the best? And of course, why? Finally, on this page, you can ask, which of the taglines would you change and what would you change it to? These are simple, but don't underestimate the power of the consistency of going through these kinds of questions on a regular basis with the worksheets in front of you. And over time, you will begin to build the language. People will become more familiar. And the powerful thing is that when people are giving me feedback on what I look like at my best and how they experiencing me, that's a huge boost, and it locks in my confidence to continue to trust and play to those strengths. I hope this helps as a first installment with the cover page to provide you with several weeks of icebreaker questions. And then in the next installment, we'll go through the user profile. I'll then move to the user trait worksheet, and then we will begin to look at some of the team reports. By the time we go through each of these reports, you will have a year's worth of icebreaker questions and things you can always go back and revisit. Again, it's meant to be simple. You don't have to be an expert on the strengths. All you have to do is be curious and have this great tool of icebreakers to help you down the road. I'd love to hear any other questions that you come up with. And if you have a question for us, please ask. We're happy to help. Take care.